In this video, I'm going to reveal some shocking truths about Social Security that most seniors never hear until it's too late. If you're relying on Social Security to support your retirement, you need to know these facts, because they could have a major impact on your financial future. Many people assume that Social Security will cover all their needs once they retire. But that's not the case. There are crucial details that the government doesn't always explain, and if you're not careful, you could miss out on money you're entitled to, or even end up in a worse situation than you expected. We'll talk about why Social Security wasn't meant to fully fund your retirement, how the trust fund is running out, and the ways your benefits can be taxed, just to name a few. Before we start, I'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Just drop your state or city in the comments below. 1. Social Security was never meant to cover your entire retirement. When Social Security was first introduced back in 1935, it was never intended to be your full retirement plan. In fact, it was created as a safety net during the Great Depression, designed to keep older Americans from falling into absolute poverty, not to replace your entire income. Back then, it was only meant to cover about 40% of your average wages. Fast forward to today, and a lot has changed, but Social Security has not kept up with the times. People are living longer, medical costs are rising, and inflation is eating away at the value of your fixed income. So while you may have paid into Social Security for decades, it's important to know that relying on it alone won't be enough to cover all your living expenses. Housing, healthcare, food, transportation, these things can add up quickly, especially as we age. And while Medicare helps with medical costs, it doesn't cover everything. Long-term care, for example, can be incredibly expensive. This means that if you depend solely on Social Security, you'll likely need to cut corners in areas that can affect your quality of life. If you haven't already, it's time to start planning for other sources of retirement income. A lot of seniors don't realize this until they've already retired, and by then it's often too late to make up the difference. 2. The Social Security Trust Fund is running out. One of the most worrying truths about Social Security is that the trust fund is projected to run out in the coming decades. Right now, Social Security benefits are funded by payroll taxes collected from current workers and interest from the trust fund. But here's the problem. As more people retire and live longer, and fewer people are contributing to the system, the trust fund is slowly draining. According to projections, by the early to mid-2030s, the trust fund will be depleted. When that happens, Social Security benefits won't disappear entirely, but they will be automatically reduced. The reduction could be as much as 20 to 25% of your monthly benefit. That's a significant amount of money, especially if you're counting on it to cover your bills. What's even more frustrating is that this issue is barely talked about in the media. Politicians often avoid discussing the trust fund because they know seniors are a powerful voting bloc. But that means that many people are planning their retirements assuming their benefits will remain the same, unaware that their monthly checks could be significantly smaller in just a few years. So if you haven't already started thinking about ways to supplement your Social Security income, now is the time. 3. Your benefits can be taxed. Here's one that catches many retirees off guard. Your Social Security benefits can be taxed, even though you've already paid into the system during your working years. Most people assume that once they start receiving Social Security, it's theirs to keep without any further deductions. Unfortunately, that's not the case. The IRS looks at something called combined income, which includes your adjusted gross income, any tax-free interest, and half of your Social Security benefits. If your combined income goes above $25,000 for individuals or $32,000 for married couples, your Social Security benefits will become taxable. And here's the kicker. Up to 85% of your benefits could be taxable, depending on your income level. For many seniors, this feels unfair, especially after they've already contributed so much over the years. But it's perfectly legal, and every year, billions of dollars are collected from seniors who are unprepared for this tax. If you find yourself caught in this situation, it can reduce the income you were depending on, making it even harder to make ends meet. So be prepared. Make sure you understand the tax implications of your Social Security benefits, so there are no surprises when tax season comes around. 4. Delaying benefits can be the most powerful decision you make. When you first become eligible for Social Security at age 62, it can be tempting to claim your benefits right away. After all, you've worked hard your whole life, and you may worry that the system might not be around forever. But here's the truth. Claiming early could be one of the biggest mistakes you make financially. If you claim benefits at 62, you'll only receive about 70% of what you would get at your full retirement age. That reduction is permanent and will stay with you for the rest of your life. On the other hand, if you can afford to wait and delay claiming benefits until after your full retirement age, your monthly benefit grows by about 8% for each year you wait, up until age 70. This means that by waiting until 70, you could receive a monthly check that's more than 70% larger than if you claimed at 62. This growth is guaranteed by law. It's one of the few risk-free increases you can get when planning for your retirement. And here's where it gets even better. These higher benefits also affect your spouse's and survivor benefits. If you delay and receive a larger check, your spouse could inherit that higher benefit, securing more income for the household. But unfortunately, the Social Security Administration won't highlight this strategy for you. It's your responsibility to figure out what's best for your situation, which is why so many retirees miss out on potentially tens of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. Point 5. Divorce can entitle you to benefits you didn't know about. Did you know that if you were married for at least 10 years, divorced, and never remarried, you might be entitled to Social Security benefits based on your ex-spouse's work record? It's a fact that surprises many seniors. This rule was put in place to protect individuals, especially women, who spent years out of the workforce raising children or supporting their spouse's career. If you meet the 10-year marriage rule, you could be eligible to collect up to 50% of your ex-spouse's full retirement benefit. And here's the best part. Claiming this benefit doesn't reduce the amount your ex-spouse receives, even if they've remarried. Unfortunately, many seniors never realize this option exists because the Social Security Administration won't automatically apply these benefits. You have to specifically ask for them. Because of this, many divorced seniors go years without knowing they're entitled to hundreds more each month. And if you missed out and didn't claim right away, you may still be able to receive retroactive payments. But keep in mind, there are caps on how far back you can apply. The longer you wait, the more money you could lose. So, if you're divorced, it's worth checking to see if you qualify for these additional benefits. 6. Working after retirement can reduce your Social Security check. If you plan to keep working after you start receiving Social Security benefits, be aware that your monthly check could be smaller than you expect. Many seniors don't realize that if you claim benefits before your full retirement age and continue to work, the government applies something called the earnings test. For example, if you're under full retirement age and you earn more than $22,000 a year from wages or self-employment, the Social Security Administration will withhold $1 for every $2 you earn above that limit. That can quickly add up, especially if you're relying on your Social Security check to cover your expenses. Once you reach your full retirement age, the penalty changes. The threshold rises, and the SSA will withhold $1 for every $3 you earn above it. But even though the penalty is less severe, it still means your benefits will be reduced if you continue to work. The good news is that once you reach full retirement age, your benefits won't be reduced any further. However, the SSA doesn't always make it clear how these reductions work, and many seniors end up feeling blindsided when their benefits are smaller than expected. The withheld money isn't lost forever, though. The SSA adjusts your benefits later to account for what was taken out, but this adjustment happens slowly, spread over your remaining lifetime. This means if you pass away earlier than expected, you may never fully get back what was deducted. 7. Benefits can be garnished in surprising ways. Many seniors believe that Social Security benefits are untouchable, but here's a harsh truth. There are certain debts that the government can legally take directly from your Social Security check. While Social Security is protected from most creditors, there are exceptions that can catch retirees by surprise. The most common garnishments include unpaid federal taxes, child support, and alimony. Yes, even if you've been divorced for years, any ongoing obligations to your former spouse or children can be deducted from your monthly Social Security check. Perhaps most surprising of all is that federal debts, such as defaulted student loans, can also result in automatic deductions from your Social Security benefits. I've seen seniors lose hundreds of dollars each month because of debts they thought were long behind them. Imagine relying on a fixed monthly check of $1,200, and then discovering that $300 is suddenly withheld due to a long-forgotten debt. For retirees, this can be especially devastating because every dollar counts. The unpredictability of these garnishments leaves many retirees scrambling to adjust their budgets, and often, they don't realize what's happening until it's too late. Social Security may seem like a safe source of income, but for certain debts, it's not as protected as you might think. If you're behind on taxes or have outstanding child support or loans, those funds can be taken directly from your Social Security benefits, and there's very little you can do to stop it. 8. Survivor benefits are often mishandled. One of the most heartbreaking surprises for seniors happens when a spouse passes away, and the surviving partner assumes they will continue to receive 2 Social Security checks. Unfortunately, that's not how the law works. When a spouse dies, the surviving partner is only allowed to keep the higher of the 2 Social Security benefits. This means if one spouse was receiving $1,800 per month and the other was receiving $1,200, the survivor will only get the $1,800 check. The $1,200 benefit disappears, which can cause a massive drop in household income at the worst possible time, right after losing a loved one. What makes this even more difficult is that many couples fail to plan for this. They budget as if both checks will continue indefinitely, only to be blindsided when the smaller check is removed after a spouse passes. This can throw retirees into financial turmoil when they're already grieving. Even when survivors know they're entitled to a benefit, they often face mistakes in processing. The Social Security Administration can make errors, such as miscalculating survivor benefits or delaying payments for months. Some surviving spouses are also entitled to their own retirement benefit in addition to the survivor benefit, but navigating this complex process can be confusing. The rules around survivor benefits are tricky, and many seniors end up with less than they're legally entitled to simply because they didn't understand the system. Planning ahead and understanding how these benefits work can make a big difference during an incredibly difficult time. 9. Filing mistakes can cost you thousands for life. Social Security is one of the most unforgiving systems when it comes to mistakes. Unlike other financial processes where you can correct errors, Social Security decisions often stick with you permanently. Once you apply for benefits, the choices you make, like when you file and which type of benefit you claim, are often irreversible. For example, if you claim benefits early and later regret it, there's a very narrow window, only 12 months, during which you can withdraw your application and reapply for a larger benefit. But to do that, you'd have to pay back every dollar you've already received, which is financially impossible for most retirees. Once that window closes, you're locked into the reduced benefit for life. Another common mistake is failing to coordinate benefits with a spouse. Married couples have multiple filing strategies that could maximize household income over time, but many don't take advantage of these options. If couples don't plan carefully, they can miss opportunities that would have added tens of thousands of dollars to their retirement. The problem is that the Social Security Administration doesn't warn you if you're making a mistake. Their job is simply to process your claim, not to optimize it for you. Many seniors make decisions based on the information they have at the time, only to realize years later that they could have received hundreds more per month if they had filed differently. These errors are not easy to fix, and once made, they can have lasting financial consequences, sometimes for the rest of your life. It's crucial to understand all your options and make informed decisions to avoid these costly mistakes. 10. The SSA doesn't give personalized financial advice. Here's perhaps the most shocking truth of all. The Social Security Administration, SSA, is not legally allowed to give you personalized financial advice. While they can answer questions about what benefits you're entitled to and process your paperwork, they cannot, and will not, tell you what the best strategy is for your specific situation. So if you ask the SSA, should I wait until I'm 70 to claim my benefits? They'll explain what happens if you do, but they won't tell you whether it's the right choice for you personally. If you ask, what's the best way to coordinate benefits with my spouse? They'll explain the options, but they won't run the numbers or give you any guidance on how to maximize your benefits. This can be incredibly frustrating, especially since many seniors assume that by speaking with the SSA, they're receiving expert financial advice. But the reality is that the SSA's job is administrative, not advisory. The responsibility to figure out the best timing, the tax consequences, and the long-term effects of your decisions falls entirely on you. The result is that millions of seniors make decisions that cost them tens of thousands of dollars over their lifetime, not because they were careless, but because they assumed the SSA was helping them make the best choice. It's a system that provides benefits but does little to help you optimize them. If you want to ensure that you're making the best decisions for your future, you'll need to educate yourself or seek outside financial advice. So there you have it, 10 shocking truths about Social Security that could affect your retirement more than you might have realized. The truth is, while Social Security is an essential part of many seniors' financial plans, it wasn't designed to fully support your retirement, and there are rules and pitfalls that can reduce the benefits you receive. But don't worry, it's not too late to take control. The key is understanding how Social Security works and being proactive in your planning. Whether it's delaying your benefits to maximize your income, coordinating with your spouse to ensure you're both getting the best possible benefits, or simply being aware of the potential tax implications, knowing these facts can help you avoid costly mistakes. Remember, the responsibility to make the best choices for your future is in your hands. You don't have to navigate this alone. Seek advice, educate yourself, and make informed decisions that will help you enjoy the retirement you've worked so hard for. If you have any questions or want to share your experiences, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to share this video with anyone you think could benefit from this important information. Take care, and make the most of your Social Security benefits.